Thank you, ma'am, and very good morning to everyone. So I will just take you through some key projects that we have been working on and recently working, and also the areas, and the services that we provide. I'll go a little deeper. So the image, I mean, maybe because of the screen. If possible, then you can open the PDF file. Next slide. Yes. So, just for an example, so you are working on this painting now. As you can see, the painting has a layer of aged varnish it had, and also lots of flaking, then, dents and little tears, at places. So, as we go on, next slide. So we have done the photo documentation in different ways. Raking light, UV light, and also macro, and in different ways to understand the problem. And also, we examined in detail, we prepared the condition report, and then next slide. So we continued cleaning initially and then varnish cleaning. So for this work, we applied gel methods for the varnish cleaning. Although the nature of the paints were not similar all across the surface, so in some places we had to use free solvent techniques, and the canvas was removed from the stretcher, and then in some areas the flaking was to that extent, so we had to do the consolidation, and then the varnish cleaning, and then the next steps. Next slide. Yeah, so we felt that the canvas was in really good condition. It didn't need any lining through and through. So we proceeded with a few local repairs. And also, as you know, the previously when we see the old canvases, mostly they are stretched using iron nails. And with time they get rusted and the edges become very fragile and brittle. So once you distretch it, so it is very difficult to restretch, because, and also it had tears, cuts along the edges. So we proceeded with strip lining in this case. Also the frame that you saw, we did the cleaning, but as, the client, his recommendation was also to like keep that old essence of the frame, not to touch up or make it like shiny. And so we proceeded with the cleaning of the frame, and also on the lower edge there was a wooden letters, stuck onto the frame. So that says whose portrait is this, Raja Prafulla Nath Tagore. So only 2-3 letters remained, and few we recreated using the similar material, like wooden material. And the chromatic reintegration, as you can see, it's going on. It's almost, we are at the final stage of this painting. Next slide. This is a kind of case study I wanted to share, because sometimes works are done edge to edge or cut edge to edge, and for the curatorial need, if we need to stretch it onto a canvas, there is no additional edges to stretch it. So for that case we need to extend the edges. So in order to extending the edges, I mean, we did not do the strip lining here. So in that case, we did extension of the edges. So with very minimal, I mean, overlapping of the fabric, I mean, the chamfered edge that only touches the main canvas, and then I mean, using a very thin strip, we extended the canvas, and this was very, I mean, interesting, because I mean, in that way we could manage extending edges of a very large canvas. So next slide. Yeah, so here are glimpses of a few before and after images. Always before, the contrast between before and after are not properly visible, because sometimes you are satisfied with the conservation work, but your before and after is not something that you, I mean, people can easily see. So here are a few cases where you can see the before and after, and we are also satisfied as well. I mean, the work went very well. So next slide. So here I come to a project on a, I mean, it's on paper conservation. So we received a diary, I mean, it is a diary by artist, very noted artist Ganesh Pyne. So as you know, I mean, artist diary is an object where there are lots of mediums. Sometimes he writes, sometimes he paints, sometimes he just doodles. So there are, I mean, lots of different, I mean, mediums like ink, like watercolors, like different types of inks and paints. So it was very interesting. The binding got disintegrated, and the paper had all the natural aging signs like fragmentation, acidity, craquelure, and cracks. So everything, I mean, these folios had. So we carefully documented all the folios, and then next slide. So then we continued with some folios were like fragmented, and it was a bunch of fragments. So we had to arrange those as well. So we tested the acidity, sensitivity, and then consolidation. Then we went on with, so we did, as this was also a requirement, and it is not a simple archival document like a letter or only inscription. So it had images. Sometimes he had just applied a intense black patch of color. So, and that area is very fragmented. So you have to mend it, as well as you have to keep that intensity of black intact, because that is its aesthetic appeal also. So as minimum as we could, we did the intervention, like local repairs. Sometimes we, mostly in this case, we applied non-aqueous techniques, because the writings, I mean, writing inks were mostly sensible to water. So we had to apply non-aqueous methods for this case. I mean, in terms of lining and the local strengthening as well. Next. Yeah, so we went on like that, and the areas of, I mean, where the losses were there, so we had to recreate the areas, we had to tone the paper, and a very little portion we had to chromatically reintegrate as well. So, and then we stitched it, and next slide. And I mean, we took it to the similar form, like as it looked like. So the book was like this. Next. Again, mounting and hinging in terms of paperwork, mounting and hinging are very common problem. Also, we have our in-house gallery, so we face this problem. I mean, it is not a problem. I mean, sometimes framings are done randomly using commercial pressure-sensitive tapes, and with time, the acidity migrates from the tape, because they use, I mean, very harsh adhesives are used for those tapes. Sometimes because of that, I mean, the stains come to the paper, and the paper becomes, I mean, brittle. So for that also, I mean, we do a lot of experimentation with mounting and hinging by applying different types of techniques as the, I mean, the aesthetic, I mean, needs. Next slide. So here I have given just only one example where we are doing a float mounting, where the object is not directly stuck to the board, just floating onto the mount, on the mount, and using Japanese tissue and reversible adhesives. At any point of time, you can reverse it, of course, gently. Any reversal has to be very gentle. I mean, I mean, although we always keep talking about reversibility, but we have to be very conscious, because anyway, if you want to reverse anything, it causes traces to the original work. Next. So here is a glimpse of some projects on map conservation. The scale was like small maps to very large scale maps, and the printings were also different types of prints. We got like the cyanotypes, ammonia prints, and different types of prints, and also along with that, handwritten inscriptions or and text. And sometimes you receive the objects like this, and maybe previously the newspaper was stuck on the back for additional support, and now the condition became like this. Next. So we went on removing the newspaper, and brown papers, different types of papers are stuck on the back, previously maybe used to join the fragments, and now you are aligning it and then consolidating the inks, then doing local repairs and doing the large scale lining. And sometimes we had to manage this in on site, like where you don't have that proper facility and you have to prepare your workspace, and this is a kind of temporary facility, but you have to manage those large scale maps. Next. So apart from our conservation projects, so the areas that we work, like this is AMC. So sometimes, I mean, as we always say that prevention is always better than curation. So we provide consultancy for annual, maintenance contracts. AMC we call it. So it's a yearly program that we provide service to individual and institutional collections, where we visit periodically, like quarterly or maybe half yearly or 4 times in a year, depending on the nature of the collection and the needs. So we provide preventive conservation, we provide condition assessment, we provide routine cleaning. Sometimes we take dust and dirt to be very granted, like, oh, dusty to hai, I mean, like that. So, but dust and dirt carries a lot of things like atmospheric pollutants and fungal spores, and so from dust and dirt, lots of problems can happen. So periodic cleaning is also very important. Sometimes they are placed on in the garden, sometimes they are in the household. So we provide that service for lots of collections. Next. So here is another service that we provide is documentation of archive, cataloging, and condition assessment. So that way we could manage archiving and documenting large archives of artists like Lalit Mohan Sen, like many others, and also a few libraries, very noted libraries, personal collections. So sometimes you have very important collections, but they are not properly documented and archived, and the materials, their conditions, they are not properly documented. So sometimes we go to the site, sometimes we get that scope to opportunity to bring the collection to our center, and then we do the detailed documentation, assessment, and cataloging. So next. Field service that Usmita ma'am talked about. So field service, it started under the Tata Trust Art Conservation Initiative, and it continued. So field service, actually, it was a very learning experience for us as well, and the institution or individual who we are visiting to. Like we are learning that we are visiting different regions in the eastern region, northeastern region, and we are listening them. They are explaining their problems, what problems they face in their day-to-day functioning, like in terms of storage, in terms of display, in terms of climate monitoring, and all. And sometimes, so we conduct field service for, let's say, 7 days, 10 days, and we document the entire thing, like not only the collection, even the building, how the collections are stored, displayed, kept, and how the conservation and daily maintenance takes place. And at the end of the survey, we prepare a detailed report and interact with the staff, in-house staff, and the local community as well. Sometimes it is very, as ma'am mentioned, that we went to some rural museums, like where the tribals, they gave their objects to the museum, and it's a kind of in a form of community museum. So there, it was a very learning experience where we could engage the community. They also attended those capacity building and interactive sessions, and they understood. I mean, of course, it has to be sustainable. As Ms. Moni mentioned, that always it can't be climate controlled. It can't be, because so you have to understand that principle and how to. It's not about to switch on an AC or keep it on for 24/7. So it has to be sustainable as well. So it was very engaging for us, this experience, like field service. Next. So public engagements. I mean, no. I mean, apprenticeship programs and internship programs are, I mean, one of our very key areas that we support. Sometimes in the Bengal also there are universities and colleges who, and part of their curriculum they have maybe heritage study or cultural studies, and sometimes they do their dissertation and we support them for their practical component and summer internships. So all these things we provide. Sometimes we make our own syllabus and we conduct it in form of a training, and sometimes it is not training. Sometimes we absorb them in our ongoing projects, so they can assist us, and while working on the project, they also simultaneously learn. And sometimes, like as we have our ongoing exhibitions on the ground floor, and we always do the display assistance for the gallery, and as part of those exhibitions, we organize collateral programs where we give walkthrough to the audiences. We organize panels on the material aspects, but always we talk about art historical aspects. But from our conservation department, we always try to, because until and unless you don't know the anatomy, the materials and mediums, I mean, it is very hard to intervene. I mean, we have to, it is very important to understand the materials. You have to visualize, I mean, how the work is done. I mean, you have to see the layers. So that way it is very engaging when we talk about the materials, and it is another discourse that people engage in. Next. This is also, like, I would like to say that collaborations in terms of training and like the public engagements, outreach, collaborations in terms of, like, as we were also part of the Tata Trust Art Conservation Initiative. So there was one library, Roja Muthia Library in Chennai. I mean, so they have also received a grant from the Tata Trust. So, like, since our center was fully equipped in paper and painting conservation, so they have suggested them to come here and do a short-term training. So we collaborated with them, and they have worked with us, and simultaneously they learned. So this kind of collaborations we, I mean, bring in. And also, like, as part of our outreach programs, we organize public talks. I mean, public talks on the rich cultural heritage of, I mean, our country and maybe beyond, and also the conservation, preservation importance. So those are mainly aimed at, I mean, creating awareness. I mean, first that awareness has to be there. I mean, it is part of our educational initiatives as well. And also we have been participating in the international like museum expos, and the workshops at Indian Museum and the different institutions as part of the public art programs like art fairs and festivals. So next, I think that's end. Yeah, so here I end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee and Ms. Ushmita Shahu, for a lovely presentation.